Today we're going to make our fish pie. It's more of a luxury fish pie, but you can make this at home. It's not very complicated. There's a few techniques that we'll teach you just to get it perfect. This fish pie is going to have a mixture of salmon, coley and smoked haddock. Quite affordable. You can swap the salmon for sea trout. We're using coley instead of cod because it's cheaper, but you get the same result. This fish pie is going to have a topping of Duchess potatoes, which is a very luxurious mashed potato, and we'll go through that with you as we're going. It's also going to have some Welsh influences. We're going to have some leeks in there. We're going to have some laverbread, which is from Swansea, and then we'll go from here. Okay, so the first stage is to get the potatoes on, for your mashed potato for the topping. So we'll get them on and we'll boil them for half an hour until they're soft. So the next stage is we're going to prep the fish. You can use any fish for this fish pie. We've got some coley, which is really cheap, but it's in the same family as cod, so it's very similar. We've got some nice smoked haddock, and then we've got a nice piece of salmon. You can use sea trout, which is really similar and a lot cheaper again. So first of all, if you've got skin on the fish, Mike's going to demonstrate how to get the skin off the fish. So you need a nice sharp knife, and then Mike will demonstrate now. So you start at the end. You get the knife underneath the skin, and then you're going to hold the knife flat. And then you're going to just use the skin to edge off, just to edge it off. So we're hardly using any pressure, we're letting the knife do its work. And there we go, the skin comes off in one nice clean piece, simple. Don't be scared to get stuck into it and try it. But if you can get the fish without the skin on, that's fine, but it's as easy as that. Okay, so next Mike's chopping up the fish. We're going to cut them into big chunky pieces. We don't want them to disintegrate when we make the fish pie. So just like this. That sort of size, and that's perfect. Right, so the next step is we've boiled our potatoes, put them into our mixer. You can do this by hand, but we're going to do it in our mixer, and then you're going to add your egg yolks. Recipe will be uploaded with the video. So this is your basic Duchess potatoes. This is going to, when we bake the fish pies, this is going to give it a lovely consistency. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper. And that's it. We're going to bake the fish in the oven. We don't want to cook the fish in the sauce because it can break up. We want to cook it in the oven, and then we can put it all together. That way when we eat the pies, you're going to have big chunks of fish in the middle. So a little bit of oil, and then you want to give it a good mix, bit of salt and pepper on there. We're going to bake the fish at 160 for 15 minutes. Just with a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's it. basic mirepoix. This is the base of our fish pie. It consists of onions, celery and carrots. So a little bit of oil, nice and hot. You know, you want to get the pan very hot. You want to get everything caramelized. So we go straight in with the onions. Followed by the celery, and then carrots. Now we're going to keep an eye on this and we're going to sweat it down for a good 10 to 15 minutes. This is where all the natural sugars come from, all the flavour. This is going to give our base sauce a beautiful taste. Sweating off the mirepoix, so it's nice and translucent if you have a look. So that's what you're looking for. To make the bechamel sauce, this is what's going to hold the fish pie together. We're going to start with 50 grams of butter. Yeah. We're going to melt that down. You don't want to burn it, you just want to melt it. We're going to add the 50 grams of flour to the 50 grams of butter. This is just plain flour. And now we're gonna cook this out so there's no lumps. So you can see it's all starting to come together, the butter and the flour. This is going to be the base for our sauce. So it's equal quantities of butter and flour, 50-50. We'll add some white wine. And we're going to incorporate that into the butter and into the flour. See, that's cooked off already, and now we're going to start adding our milk gradually, in stages, and then just sort of cook this out and while stirring consistently. As you can see, it's starting to thicken straight away. So you've got to keep stirring it, you don't want to let it burn. And then we'll add some more. As you're stirring, it'll get very thick and quite hard to stir, but just, you know, you just got to really just get stuck into it. We're going to add the last bit of milk, and we're going to cook that out. We're going to add a little bit of vegetable stock or fish stock, and then we're just going to cook it out. Okay, so now we've got our bechamel sauce with our mirepoix in it. We're going to add our own ingredients to make it more unique to being in Wales, basically. So we're going to add our leeks, lots of leeks. Make sure they're sliced and washed. We're going to get loads of leeks in there. Then we're going to get our peas in there. Some sweet corn. And our secret ingredient, which is a Welsh delicacy, our laverbread. This is going to give it a lovely salty flavour. So we won't need to add any more salt to this. This is a Welsh seaweed. Very rich in iron, very good for you. As you can see, it's all starting to come together now. Add our spinach last minute, just so it wilts down into it. Give it a good stir, and then just to finish the sauce, we're going to add some fresh lemon zest. Just scrape off on the mic. And then we're going to add some dill. Dill goes beautifully with fish. You can add parsley. We've got a little mixture of dill and parsley there. And that's it. We're just going to cook this out now, and that'll be our base for the fish pie. Okay, so we've cooked this out, and if you have a look, this is what you're looking for. So it's a nice, creamy, rich, thick sauce. You know, you've got to cook the spinach and the leeks out because they're going to release liquids. You know, a good 10 minutes. A good 10 to 15 minutes on a low to medium heat, constantly stirring, just to bring it all together. You know, you want to make the sauce really busy, you know, full of vegetables, full of spinach, full of anything you like. But the key to a really good fish pie is when you break into it, you want it to be really busy and full of different flavours. So again, we're just going to leave this on a little low heat just to cook out. Okay, so next we're going to get our fish out. It's been in for 12 minutes, depending on your oven, you can tell. You don't want to overcook it, but you want to cook it, roast it, so we've got all these nice big chunky pieces of fish. And you don't want to move these around. This is it now. You want to leave this cool down a little bit, and then we'll start putting the fish pie together, and we'll move on to the next stage. But that's what you're looking for. Nice bit of colour on there, that's flavour. The roasting the fish is going to give it more of a flavour. So that's exactly what you need. So the next stage, we're going to put the fish into the pie bowls. You can use anything you find around the house. You don't want any of the liquid from this fish. You can save the liquid. It's great for if you're making like some risottos or some sauces. But we're going to leave the juice in the pan. We've already made our sauce. We've got our stock in there. That's it. So you want to just nice pieces, nice and whole, and then move on to the next one. You don't want to break it up too much. Keep it nice and chunky. Good mix of all. Make sure you got some smoked fish in there. Make sure it's all mixed well. As you can see, it's just cooked. So it's when fish is cooked, it just starts to fall apart. Just holding itself, but just falling apart. Okay, so the next stage, we're going to add our bechamel sauce on top of the fish, the roast fish. Take your time; it's going to be very hot. Make sure you get enough sauce in there. Double up on the sauce, and then when it's in, so don't be shy with it. Get lots on there, and then we're just going to tap it down. So let that sit. Let all the juices and the sauce drip to the bottom. You're just going to gently tap it. Careful that it doesn't spit up at you because it's very, very hot. This way we've got all our fish intact. And when we bake this in the oven and it all comes together, it's going to be beautiful. There's going to be massive chunks of fish in there. You can add king prawns to it, you can add cockles, you can add anything you want to it. This is our basic fish pie that we do, but we like to keep it traditional. Next step is we're gonna put our mash top on the pies. We use piping bags in the kitchens because we have them. You can buy them in most supermarkets, but it hasn't got to be posh. Just get the mash on top of the spoon. So we're just gonna get plenty of mash on there. This is our Duchess potato mash, which has got egg yolks in there as well, which is going to really help it bake. It hasn't got to be super fancy. Just get it on there. Use a spoon, use a fork, whatever you feel comfortable doing. You're going to get a bit of mess when you bake these because of the sauce. It's going to bubble up, but just stick it on a tray. We're going to cook it at 160. We're not going to go any higher. We don't want to, we don't want to overcook them. So that's what you're looking for. Now we're going to add a little mixture of cheese, porridge oats, and breadcrumbs, just dry, stale breadcrumbs. You can just add cheese. You can leave it as it is. It's totally up to you. Not too much, just a little bit. Concentrating on the cheese and the gaps around the fish pies. This is going to give it a lovely crunch, and it's going to also help keep all the sauce in. Anything that falls off, just stick it in. You don't want any waste. But again, this is leftover bread. When you separate the egg yolks for the Duchess potatoes on top, just save the egg whites for omelettes and that sort of thing. And there we go. Now we're just gonna clean up this tray, and then we're gonna bake them at 160 for 45 minutes. Our chef Mike is now popping them in the oven. We're gonna cook them at 160 for 45 minutes. You don't want it any hotter than 160. We want to cook it gently and slowly so it all comes together. Just keep an eye on it. You know, everybody's oven's different at home. This is a fan oven, so we're just going to turn it down just a tad. And then we're just going to leave it do its thing in the oven. Everything's pretty warm anyway from the bechamel sauce. The fish was just cooked. The mash was recently cooked. So it's not going to take a long time to cook. And there we go. Okay, so here we go. There's something for you to try at home. And this is our signature fish pie at Dalseroy Hall, HF Holidays. I hope you try it at home, and post some of the pictures.